Alright, this is the problem we left off on, and now we're moving on to number 4. In number 4, order of operations, there are no parentheses, so we're going to look for exponents, and there happens to be an exponent right here, so we'll carry everything else straight down. 5.4 minus 3 times 3 is 9, plus 6.2. Then we're going to move left to right. So left to right on addition and subtraction, come to a subtraction first. These are different signs. I have $4 or $5.40 and I owe somebody 9. So I'm really thinking about subtracting those, so I'll go ahead and subtract them. Put the 9 on top, borrow. I end up getting 3.6. It is a negative 3.6 because the 9 is the bigger of the two numbers if you took the absolute value up. Or if you just think about it logically, you owe somebody $9. You don't have enough to pay them back, so you're still going to owe them money. Same thing when you go ahead and add these together. You owe somebody $3.60, but you have $6.20, so you're actually going to have enough to pay them back. But how much? Well, you have to subtract to figure that out. You'll have $2.60 left after you pay them back. First example that I give you here that has parentheses in it, and not only do they have parentheses, but they also have brackets. When you have double sets of parentheses or brackets, you have to work on the innermost parentheses first. Copy everything else straight down. Inside those parentheses, I get 5. Then work on the second set. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. I don't really have to write the brackets anymore. There's just a negative 10 there. I don't need to hold it together. Negative divided by negative is a positive, so I get a positive 2 as my solution. On the next part here, it says to evaluate the expression for the given value of x. So what we're going to be doing is plugging in that number and then working out the order of operations. You do not do subtraction first, you do multiplication before subtraction, so I will just be taking care of the 3 times 6 part first, which is 18. And then I would change my sign to plus the opposite. I have $10, but I owe 18, so that means I still owe an additional 8. The next problem, we're going to copy everything straight down. 4 squared, put in negative 2, negative 2 plus 3. Well, I have a set of parentheses, so I need to do that first. Negative 2 plus 3. I owe somebody $2. I have 3, so I have 1 left over after I pay. The next part is powers or exponents. Well, 4 times 4 is 16, and then 16 times 1 just happens to be 16. In the next problem, I have x is 6. So I've got 6 times 2 squared divided by, and then I have 2 plus 6. So I've got parentheses here. This one's not so big of a deal because it's just all by itself. Whereas this one, I've got powers and parentheses. So I have to do some order of operations within these parentheses. And I would do the exponent before I do the multiplication. So I'd have 6 times 4. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy everything else straight down for now. Then what I can do is I can do both sets of these parentheses because they're separate. 24 divided by 8, and then that would happen to give me a 3. On my next problem, it has a fraction bar, so we're going to think about the top separated from the bottom. So in the top part, I would do the multiplication first, which would give me negative 8 plus 22. On the bottom, I would do the exponent part first, which would be 4 times 4, which is 16. Now I can say, well, I owe somebody 8, I have 22, so that means I have 14 left. And down here I have 16 minus 9, which is 7, and so my answer ends up being 14 divided by 7, which is 2. In my next example, I see some absolute values. Absolute values are also like parentheses, so I'm going to just carry along the 3 for now. I'm going to do the exponent part first. So 4 times 4 is 16. Now inside the absolute values, I need to follow order of operations, so I need to do division next. So I have 16 plus 4, and then 16 plus 4 is 20. The absolute value of 20 is 20, so 3 times 20 is 60. On the next one, I have another fraction. On the top part of the fraction, I have addition and multiplication. I'll do the multiplication first. And then on the bottom, I have exponents. So negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 gives me negative 8 minus 3. I have $5. I owe somebody 16. Well, I still owe them 11. And down here on the bottom, if I do plus the opposite, I owe somebody 8. I owe them another 3, so I owe them $11. Negative divided by negative is positive, and 11 goes into 11 one time, so I get a positive 1 as my solution. Okay, in this next problem, I have 3 times 50 minus 1 is 49. The square root of 49 is 7, so I just do 3 times 7, which is 21. I have one couple quick problems on the next video. Please pause and watch those last couple problems